Alright, so this is the next part of the 77 Witchy questions tag. I'm pretty sure I left off by answering 26, so I'm going to resume with 27. It says, how do you organize your herbs and ingredients? Most of my plant stuff is actually in our kitchen pantry, because most of it is kitchen herbs, you know, rosemary and stuff like that, cinnamon and things. The things that I have that are not kitchen ingredients, like resins and woods and herbs that I don't use in cooking, they are in my closet in airtight jars. I wouldn't really say I organize them. They're not alphabetical. Most of them aren't even labeled. But they're in dark, cool places. 28 says, do you have any interest in deities that you don't work with? Well, yeah, because I don't really work with deities, so any deity interest that I have would qualify. I'm interested in deities. I think they're a fascinating study, and I really like reading and learning. Absolutely. 29 says, do you have a favorite time of day to do spell work? Not really. I do it when I do it. Sometimes I plan ahead and something wants to be or needs to be done, you know, with a moon. I'll wait till night and do it with the moon. Otherwise, I pretty much just do it whenever it's convenient for me. I don't really have a strong preference. 30 says, are you solitary or do you work with a coven? I'm very solitary. Yeah. 31 is, if you could pick a witchcraft tradition that most closely fits your practice, what would it be? I don't know. There isn't really a tradition as far as I'm aware. There's a modern tradition, if that's a thing, of eclectic style witches who cobble bits and pieces together from various older traditions. And that's what I am. I'm a very modern, all-over-the-place witch. 32. What was the most creative spell you've ever done, and what did you use? I don't have a good answer for that question. I feel like the vast majority of the spells and rituals that I do are... Hello, plane. The vast majority of my spells and rituals are creative. I think the ones that I would say they're the most creative are when I'm out alone in the woods like this, just out and alone, without anything but the stuff that's in my bag, which I don't keep much in there. Knife, you know, a little multi-tool with a knife and a saw, pen and paper, flashlight. Like I keep normal stuff in there. I don't keep vials of tinctures, and I don't keep an emergency candle in there. So when I'm out in nature and I decide to do some spellcraft or ritual, that's when I'm at my most creative. I find ways to set up an altar space, you know, with whatever stones or plant material I find, and I make do. And that's when I feel the most witchy, and that's when I feel the most creative. 33. What do you prefer for divination? It depends on what's happening. I like runes. I'm just now learning runes, but I really like them. They seem much more straightforward than tarot. I love tarot because it is less straightforward. It's very intuitive. Like you really have to kind of dig in and figure out what they're trying to say. I also use pendulums a lot. I don't carry a pendulum, but I do always have a little charm bag on me, and I use it for pendulum work often. Pendulum work is probably what I do the most often because it's convenient and gives really clear yes-no maybes. I like that. 34. What are some ways you keep yourself grounded? This is the big one. I come out to various places in nature, or a cemetery near my place that I go to, and I spend time with the trees, and it really helps me feel real. It helps me feel grounded. I don't have a big meditation practice, which I know is something that a lot of witches do. But for me, the biggest grounding thing is really being with nature. 35. Have you ever had a spell go horribly wrong? I am happy to say, no, I've never had a spell go horribly wrong. Just like pretty much any witch, I've had spells that didn't work out like I expected them to, or like I wanted them to, but that doesn't mean they went wrong. No, I don't think I've ever had a spell actually go wrong or backfire. I think probably part of that is that I've never done any spell work that was negative in any way. I've never done any curses or like revenge spells or anything like that. Those things I feel like would have more potential to really go wrong. 36 is, what are your views on initiation rituals? I don't really have much of an opinion on initiation rituals. I've never done one. I've never really been part of a coven. I think it's neat. I think it's a cool idea. I have done something similar in other religions. You know, back when I was considering myself a Christian, I was very young at the time, but I went through, you know, the Methodist version of the initiation ritual. I went through confirmation and joined the church and things like that. And it's really meaningful. It makes you feel like you're part of a community. It renews your commitment to the religion. I'm cool with initiations. 37. Have you ever had full contact with your deity? I'm going to go with no. Well, right now I don't have a deity, so that's an obvious no. But even back when I was working with the god and goddess, I mean, you feel their presence. You see their works, right? But full contact, I interpret that to mean like really hearing, seeing, touching them. And no, I've never experienced that. What about you is unwitchy? A lot, probably. For one, I don't really work with deities at the moment. My job is very unwitchy. I have a desk job for a bank, a big, huge, evil bank. That's really unwitchy. I like to play video games. I don't know. I'm mostly witchy. I would say I'm mostly witchy. Okay, for the dating witch, how do you tell a potential love interest that you are a witch? I don't know. I feel like religion's a pretty natural conversation that comes up at some point after you start getting to know people. It just comes up in conversation. I've never made like a big declaration. Like I've never set out to tell someone I was with that, hey, yo, I'm a witch, so heads up. That's not really ever happened. It just comes up. And if they like it, they are cool. And if they don't like it, then goodbye. Who is a past witch who has inspired you, whether famous or not? Inspired me. Well, the witches who've had the biggest influence on me as individuals were, you know, Gerald Gardner and you know, Cunningham. You know, those people who have had huge influences on all modern witches have had the biggest influence on me. I wouldn't say they particularly inspire me. They're interesting people. They wrote some interesting things. They had some cool ideas. but it was their books and ideas that inspire and educate me, not the people themselves. Alright, I just hit 10 minutes, so I think I'm going to stop here. This is obviously going to be way more than just 3 videos. I had no idea how long the first video was going to go. So I'm going to cut here, and then we'll pick up later on. Have a good day.